My name is Taylin, and this is Dietitian with a Mission. Today we will be making 3 recipes that feature herbs. Why herbs? Because in July, here in Washington, we've got a plethora of herbs that you can grow yourself or you can find for an affordable price at your local grocery store. So let's get started. Our first recipe is going to be a sweet mint smoothie. So we've got, of course, our featured ingredient, mint. We need about a handful of mint for this ingredient. We're gonna pluck off any of the primary woody stems, but we can leave the smaller ones on because it's gonna be blended. The next part of this ingredient is just half of a large English cucumber. If you'd like, you can cut it into smaller pieces so that it fits into your blender better, but if you have a large blender, it might not be necessary. We also are going to have a plethora of green leaf lettuce, but you can use kale, chard, spinach, whatever kind of leafy green works for you. I've got about 6 large leaves and I wash them off thoroughly to make sure that there's no dirt from the bottom of the leaves. Again, you can coarsely chop it to make sure it fits well. And then you're gonna want an avocado. So I have half of a large avocado, but you can use one whole small or medium avocado. And then for a bit of tang, we've got half of a Granny Smith apple, juice of 1 whole lime, and a couple drops of liquid stevia. That's it. We're just gonna add everything right into the blender and be good to go. I'm just peeling the skin right off the avocado. Okay, and I'm not gonna put the whole lime in there. I'm just gonna juice it, catching any seeds. I like mine really limey, so that's why I'm doing a whole lime. But you could easily just use half a lime if you're not big into the citrus. And a few drops of the liquid stevia. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, liquid stevia is really strong. You don't need a lot of it. And remember, you can always go back and add more, but you can't take any out. I'm gonna go ahead and blend it and then gather some ice cold water and some ice cubes to add this to my blender so that it can be the consistency and the temperature that I best desire. Ooh, making a bit of a mess there. Okay, actually, before I pour it into my bowl, I'm gonna do a little taste test to make sure it is delicious. That way, if I wanna add any more stevia or lime or mint, I don't have to pour it back in. It is great. It is a little bit warm, so what I'll do is I'll keep it in the fridge until I'm ready to drink it. I'll be good to go. That's it. Simple, easy green smoothie. This is really good, and this is perfect for people who are looking for a lower sugar smoothie option with all the great flavor. Here's to a sweet mint smoothie. Enjoy! Recipe, we will be making pesto. So that means our featured ingredient, of course, is basil. I love the way basil smells. It's so aromatic, and it actually tastes as good as it smells, which is great. So you're gonna need 2 ounces of basil, and that's about 2 cups. If you're starting with a bunch, that is more. Go ahead and rinse your basil and take out the main stems. We're gonna toss that in our food processor, along with 1/3 cup of walnuts. Now, most traditional pesto recipes are going to call for pine nuts, and that's great. The reason why I'm not using pine nuts is simply from the cost. Walnuts are slightly cheaper than pine nuts. Some people also have this thing called pine nut mouth, where they get this metallic-y flavor in their mouth about a day after they eat pine nuts. So to avoid any of that, I'll be using walnuts. Now, if you have a walnut allergy, go ahead and use pine nuts, or you can use blanched skinless almonds. We also need 2 cloves of garlic. Take the skins off, of course. If you want to cut off the little nub at the end, be my guest. It might not blend well in your food processor, that woody end piece. And put that in your compost. Okay. And then another kind of key ingredient here is going to be our Parmesan cheese. Now, if you're getting a block, you might want to buy like a 2 to 5 ounce block of cheese. I'll just be using 2 ounces of our Parmesan cheese for this pesto recipe. That should give us about a half a cup grated. So if you're buying your Parmesan cheese already grated, use about a half a cup. Add that to your food processor. Okay. We now need a couple pinches of salt, about 1/4 teaspoon. And likewise, the same amount of pepper. I've seen some pesto recipes call for lemon juice, and then I've seen some say that's not the traditional way. So I'm going to choose to not use lemon juice for this recipe. Our final ingredient is to add some of our extra virgin olive oil. You're gonna need 2/3 cup, and we're going to pour it in slowly through the spout of the food processor. So since this is pretty loud, we'll go ahead and throw some good music on top of it. I think we're done. First of all, it smells amazing. Oh my goodness. I've had to go in once or twice with a spatula and scrape down the sides in case there was a stuck basil leaf or piece of cheese. But I don't see that anymore, so we should be good to go. Let's give it our taste test. Yes. Very, very good. I think I will go ahead and give it just a pinch more salt and one more quick pulse, and we should be good to go. The key to getting a good pesto is using high quality olive oil, a really good, really strong, really fresh Parmesan cheese or Parmesan Reggiano cheese, and making sure it blends well. If you're using any older ingredients, it's just not gonna have the robust flavor that it's supposed to have. Look at that, folks, pesto, and that took like 2 minutes. You can store it in a clean glass jar in your refrigerator for about 2 weeks. Our recipe yielded a bit over a cup of pesto, so that's plenty to cover your chicken or shrimp or salmon and bake. It's plenty for a nice bowl of pasta. It's great to drizzle onto your salads or to even put on wraps and sandwiches. So I really hope you guys enjoy this recipe. Okay, recipe number 3. Our featured herb is cilantro. You guys know I love cilantro. It's in like half the recipes I make here. I love beating my herbs, releasing the essence of them. So for this recipe, it is going to be a cilantro lime dressing. And you can use this dressing on just a classic green salad. You can drizzle it over like vegetables in a wrap. You can use it as a marinade for some chicken or some shrimp. You can use it as a dipping sauce for your protein. It's gonna be great for pretty much anything. I think another great way to use the cilantro lime dressing is for taco salad night. Check out my recipe for the tofu taco crumbles and use this as the dressing that delights the whole dish. Let's get started. I've got a washed bunch of cilantro, And you need about a cup. I rarely measure things, so let's just start with half of it. And I'm just gonna chop off the main portion of the stems, but you can keep some of the other stems intact because we are gonna put it in a food processor. I'll take out just a few bit more. There we go, and put that in your compost. All right, is that about a cup? That looks about a cup. Bloop, bloop, bloop. It's actually a little shy of a cup, so let's get some more of this bunch. I guess about 2/3 of the bunch. Yeah, 2/3 of the bunch. Okay, so add that to your food processor. Except make sure you have your blade in there. Here we go. And now we've got 2 cloves of garlic, large cloves, and yes, of course, you can add more garlic. Cut off the little woody nubs. Plop those bad boys in there. Then we're gonna do the juice of 2 limes. Make sure you roll them because you know limes can be tricky to get all the juice out of, and rolling them will help release it. If you've got a really dry lime, pop it in the microwave for a few seconds. That will release even more of the juices. I'm gonna do it over my hand in case there's any little seeds. If there are seeds from a lemon or a lime in a blended item, in a blended recipe, it is gonna get so bitter. You do not want that. I have made that mistake before. I suppose you could zest your limes too and save some of it for your dressing. Make sure you buy organic though if you do that. Now this is gonna be a yogurt-based dressing, so we're gonna add a half cup of Greek yogurt. Now I have non-fat because we are adding some olive oil to the recipe, but I do think 2% would work really well with this. And then I've got a mixture of some spices. We've got some cumin and some chili pepper or chili powder, both at a 1/4 teaspoon, and then a little bit of salt, about 1/8 teaspoon. And that's it. Let's put the lid on, turn it on, and slowly add our olive oil. All right, that's dressing, y'all. So I did a taste test in between, and because my limes were really large and really juicy, it's a little too limey for me. Woo, definitely tangy. So I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of just pure granulated sugar. You can also do honey or maple syrup. And then resume blending. Much better. I've been doing a little mini series on herbs. So for this final recipe, we will be using several herbs in a smoked fish spread. Now you can use smoked trout. I'm using smoked mackerel fillets, but smoked salmon would also work. Heck, why not even anchovies? Though you may need to adjust the salt a little bit. So beside our smoked mackerels, our herbs are going to be, so the key ingredient here is our smoked fish. It's gonna be the main player, but the herbs that really take it up another notch include fresh flat leaf or Italian parsley, green onions, or you can use chives, and one of the featured ingredients I think is dill. Now while we're only using 3 tablespoons of dill, dill has a very strong and unique flavor. So I think this flavoring agent really comes through in this recipe. If you don't have fresh dill, because it can be hard to find depending on what season you're preparing this recipe, use 1 tablespoon of dried dill. Our recipe also includes 1 lemon and the zest of that lemon, 4 ounces of plain cream cheese, and 5 ounces of non-fat Greek yogurt. I almost forgot. If you want a little bit of spice, You can add some dried chili flakes, or you can use dried jalapeno, or even Tabasco sauce, sriracha, or heck, fresh jalapeno. Your choice. I don't need the oil for this recipe, I just need the fish fillet. So I'm going to use my fork and transfer it into my food processor. Now, this recipe, you don't technically need a food processor. I think you could get away with just using a masher or a whisk and a large bowl. You'll just want to make sure that your cream cheese has been brought to room temperature so that it incorporates well. So I'm adding the fish, the yogurt, and the cream cheese to my food processor. I'll zest my lemon and then I'll add the juice of this guy. I only need about a tablespoon, so if he's really juicy, I will omit half of the lemon. Did you get a seed in there? I did. Make sure you don't drop any seeds in there. It's gonna make your dish taste quite bitter. I will use all of the zest. I feel like zest always elevates a dish from good to great. Now I'm just gonna use the green parts of my green onion. I'll save the white parts for another recipe, and I can just plop these in a jar with some water near a window and they will regrow. Talk about sustainable. We'll need about a 1/4 cup of green onions, and I think this will suffice. Now the reason why I am actually chopping this is because we're just gonna pulse our dip. So I wanna make sure there aren't too large of pieces. And then we just need a little bit of dill. Also about a 1/4 cup or 3 tablespoons. It smells so good. Yeah, that's about right. Okay. And then we've got our parsley. We don't want the large stems here. Put that in a nice ball. And mince. Oh, there's a big stem. Mince, mince, mince. Okay. Push that down a little bit and pop on our lid. Let's give it a pulse. Add some chili flakes. Alright, let's taste it. This is good. This is good. It's good. Okay, so what can you use this? You can spread it on a bagel, first of all. So good. Put it in a nice dish. Use it for some vegetables, a crudité board. You can put this on a couple pieces of bread for like a toast option, like a breakfast toast. You could use it as a spread for a tuna sandwich. I mean, why not? Fish on fish. You could put this in a wrap as a spread with some more veggies. I think there are a lot of uses for this. Of course, you can dip crackers or whole grain chips or pita chips in here. Lots of options for our smoked fish spread. Enjoy.